in their households, you're making them pay for it. So it's like, pick your poison, and while you're picking your poison, we're just going to watch you just die because of that. It's horrible. So Steve made these horrible inflammatory jokes about the Flint water crisis, and now you have Flint residents that are faced with paying these bills, or they are going to lose their home. So what I'm trying to figure out is, why is it that these people are so comfortable with screwing these Flint residents? Why are they okay with saying, now, we know we're giving you poisonous water that you can't drink directly, you have to boil to an oblivion, and it still is disastrous, but we're still going to make you pay for it. And if you don't pay for it, we're going to take you home, you're going to be homeless, and it's going to be even worse. Like, who does that? Absolutely, positively wrong. And I think that everybody who has a heart that's listening to the show, shout out to the people who have been texting and inboxing and tweeting and all that. I honestly believe that if you have a heart, you would write them and let them know that what they're doing is wrong. Like, you were told, don't pay the water bill till we correct it. Now you're telling them, we know we told you that, but now you have over $1,000 in bills, and if you don't pay them by this date, we're taking your house. I'm telling you, it was a setup from the start. They're going to do the same exact thing that they've done to other, areas that are now high-rise like. So, for example, in the burnt-down Bronx back in the 70s, nobody wanted to live in the Bronx. That was the worst place to live. If you lived in the Bronx, you were totally considered poor. You weren't even considered middle class. You were considered dirt poor. Why? Because it was nothing but projects, and the houses that they did had, the tenement buildings and the nice houses that they had, they were burnt down, or they were vandalized, or they were broken into all of the time, because people were struggling, people were angry, and people were just doing what they were doing back then. And if you watch that movie, The Get Down, it gives you a tiny depiction of it. Tiny. I remember my cousin, when they moved to the Bronx, it was like, why are you moving to the burnt down Bronx? Even though they rebuilt it, it's still called the burnt down Bronx. We were not allowed to go to the Bronx, and we were not allowed to go to Brooklyn. But I digress. So, in the Bronx, nobody really wanted to live there because of the reputation, because it was wild, a whole bunch of stuff. Well, what ended up happening was gentrification took place, and all of these, they called them projects. They were up to like 20 to 30 floors. They are now apartment homes. You heard what I said. So the projects for people who were low income, bad on their luck, couldn't get a job, whatever the situation is, whatever. I don't care why someone's on Section 8 or public housing. It's none of our business. But these people are being pushed out, and not only are they being pushed out, they're pushed out with nowhere to go. And they're turning these same projects into apartment homes. Thank you, Ron, for listening to. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So they're turning them into apartment homes. And then not only are they turning these apartments to apartment homes, they're cutting the size. So before, where there may have been like 20 apartments on one thing, it may be 30 now. I do know a building that my cousin lived in, and this is in Harlem now that I'm talking about. They had these huge apartments. Each floor had 3 apartments. That's all. 3 apartments on each floor. And these apartments were so big you would get lost in it. Now, there are 9 apartments on each floor. And they went from like 1,700 square feet to like 400 square feet, maybe 5. Absolutely absurd. Doesn't make sense to me. So I believe they're going to do the same thing. They're going to declare that area bankrupt. They're going to be able to get their coins together, and they're going to make a high-rise development. Mark my words. 6/28/17 at 11:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're going to bankrupt that area. They're going to clean it up, and it's going to be next to impossible to live in that area. And I think it's a plan. It's an unfortunate plan, but I honestly, in my heart of hearts, believe that it is a plan. So I don't know what you think, but those are my thoughts, and I'm sticking to it. Because every time I say that, it always happens. And I don't wish that on anybody. It just sucks. It just sucks a whole lot. And speaking of buildings, London, they are in some deep. So they found out that the materials that were used to build that high-rise that went down in flames and took the lives of over 79 people, they found out that the materials used were hazardous. So maybe that kid that was talking about getting rid of them meaning the black people, maybe that wasn't a joke. Maybe they really did say, let's get rid of them and do this, because he said that they've been trying to get them out for years. And because they wouldn't leave, all of a sudden this happened. I mean, people could be just evil. People could just be so evil. And I don't know what the logic is behind them using materials that they know were condemned, that they knew were bad, that they knew would harm, that they knew were flammable. Like, what would make you as a developer say, yeah, let's spend millions of dollars on this high rise with some flammable stuff that we know are going to kill people? You have to be a certain sick type of person to say that and mean it and do it. Like, I don't get it. I truly do not get it. And it's sad because, again, these people are losing everything. Everything. So, let me know, for those of you who are texting me, let me know if you can hear this song. If not, I'm just going to turn it off and we're going to close the show the way that we do. So this is what's going on in the world right now. It's absolutely crazy. Listen to Miss Optimism SpeakZ radio show. Okay, so for whatever reason, I apologize, guys. They said they can't hear it, so we're going to go ahead and turn it off, and we are going to go ahead and prepare for close in about 8 minutes. So, tell me what you want me to talk about before we go off the air. Okay, so Carrie said, girl, I am so mad because I know you had some hot stuff for us to listen to. Yes, I don't understand why I was playing before and not now. Absolutely crazy. The enemy is alive, but that's all right. We got this one. Okay, so we already talked about your crazy president. I'm still going, concerned about that. It's so bad that even, now dig this, it's so bad that even the North Korea president said that that Trump is crazy. Even he said it. So you know that that's bad. You know that's absolutely bad when that dude is saying something about Donald Trump being absolutely berserk. Unfreaking believable. And with North Korea news, since we're talking about stuff that's going crazy right now, did you know that North Korea calls for execution of South Korean ex-president in aid? What? They are saying former President Park Geun-hye of South Korea and her intelligence chief would face a miserable dog's death. What? Oh my God, like who would say something like that? I'm telling you guys, y'all better stay prayed up because this stuff that's going on is bananas, not bananas, bananas. Absolutely ridiculous. And wait a minute. Yes, Michelle, they said that publicly. They said that they should kill her like a dog. Unreal. And they said they claimed that she was behind the alleged assassination attempt from Kim Jong-un. And I'm telling you, it's absolutely bananas what's going on. Wait a minute. No, Michelle, I'm not. Okay, so Michelle thinks I'm making this up. Absolutely not. This is really going on right now. That the North Korean president wants the ex-president to get killed a miserable dog's death. Yes, I'm not playing with you. That is. So, yeah, shout out to that. I know I have some good news to talk about instead of that poor woman and a miserable dog's death. So, for those who watch the BET Awards, Chance, the cute rapper with his adorable eyebrows, I know Krugerville, he was awarded an award because of his community service and everything he's done in the city of Chicago. Not only has he donated his time, but he has donated his money, and he has set the precedent for other rappers to do the same. And while we're talking about that, Bruno Mars, and Kendrick Lamar were the only ones that thanked God for their accomplishments. Yes. So, I mean, yeah. It's beautiful to see our young people doing that. But then not only that, it's good to see when our people do that. Yeah. So, Bruno Mars, they said that he is taking advantage of the black culture. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. So apparently, people are saying that he is using our style, our music, our everything. And Twitter is accusing Bruno Mars of appropriating black culture. Now, here's the problem with that, okay? Bruno is part black, part Filipino, part Puerto Rican. We do know that Puerto Ricans are of African American descent. We do know that, right? Please say that we know that. If not, then you need to look at your history books. Basically, when we came from Africa, we were dropped off at different ports. And guess what? Puerto Rico happens to have black people, African American descent. So someone's saying if it wasn't born out of complete capitalized, marginalized of black people, and if black people weren't still being marginalized, I think many black people would feel differently about other groups 100% biting the sounds and movement we fostered as a result of forced in our own corner of America. Well, people say black people can't have it both ways. So they're trying to say that Bruno Mars is taking black culture and running with it. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, seriously, have you looked at Bruno Mars and his complexion? Like, let's really talk about this. Like, Bruno has some brother in him, but they said Black Twitter is saying that he is using the black culture for his benefit. So it says a Twitter user named Jen M. Jackson took to Twitter just hours before Mars was scheduled to perform to accuse him of appropriating black culture. I really need y'all to stop with this Bruno Mars praise and be more critical about the way we understand cultural appropriation. Jackson, who writes at the Washington Post as well as BITC Go On Media, said on Twitter. So people are saying that he is appropriating our culture. Jackson went on to describe how Mars, whose father is half Latino, half Jewish, and his mother is Filipino, was appropriating the funk genre, which was built by black people solely for money. But the research that she did not do was forgetting that the father was half Latino, but his parents were black. I mean, it's like, Bruno Mars, I love him to pieces. I think he's an excellent performer. I think he is absolutely talented. But again, sister girl, if you know anything about your history, you will know that we were dropped off in the Caribbean, we were dropped off in Asia, we were dropped off in South America, we were dropped off everywhere. So honestly, if you knew about that, most Puerto Ricans who know their legacy and their culture will tell you that they're African American descent in their blood. So yeah, Miss Jackson, sorry. Excuse the pun, sorry, Miss Jackson. So but it was wonderful to see Bruno Mars get that award and challenge other young rappers, other young performers, and just black people as a whole. Stop making music in these communities and cities and not giving back. Period. That's what he's trying to say. I mean, can I get agree with that? He's basically saying, stop